Alright guys, so in this video we are going to be working with categorizing data in Rails and much else by creating a Wikipedia clone in Ruby on Rails. So without further ado, let's get started.
Alright guys, so today we will be looking at what we will be building in this section, and what we're going to be building is simply just a wiki or a Wikipedia clone. So you see here we have all articles. We can click on a category on the side and it'll show you all of the articles in that category. So I'll go to things and it says all things articles. There's the nay. I'll click on bacon and you see it has filler text about bacon and a image of bacon. Now I'm going to go to new article and I'm going to create a new article and I'll call it dog. And the article body, I'm going to say dogs are awesome. And then I'm going to open up a new tab, go to hipstem.co to get some filler text. And then I'm just going to copy all of this randomly generated stuff into there. Alright, so we'll paste that in there. And I'll also search for dog. And I'll go to images. And I'll try to find a good one. So how about that one right there? And I'll click copy image address. And now you see if we go to the wiki in the image URL and paste that in, then we'll choose a category of animals, submit that, and you see we have the picture that we chose and an article about a dog. Sweet, so now if I want to edit this, you see here that I can edit, so dogs are really awesome instead, put a space there, and submit. Now if we go to people, all articles, you see it's a really nice application. We can also sign out. And if we sign out, you will see that if we click on something, that now we can't edit it. So yeah, that's pretty much what we'll be building in this section, and I hope to see you in the next video. Alright guys, you know the drill by now. Today in this video, we will be creating our app. So I'm in my terminal, seeding into my programs directory, and I'm just going to say Rails new and the name of our app, which is Wiki. Alright, so I'll wait for Rails to create our app. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to cd into that with cd wiki. And I'll just clear the terminal. And next we are going to generate the scaffold, which will be the core of our application. So I'll just type in Rails generate or G scaffold, and we'll have the model be article with a title, which I will put as a string, a body with text, text, and last but not least, image URL with a string once again. So we'll run that ridiculously long command. And now that that's done, all we have to do is migrate the database with rake db migrate. And now, once Rails has run all of our migrations, we are pretty much done. So in the next video, you know how it is. We're going to be working with implementing Devise, and I will see you in the next one. Okay guys, once again in this video, we will be installing Devise. So in order to do that, the first thing is we're going to go into our gem file, scroll down, delete these comments, and I'm just going to put in gem devise in a string. Okay, good, so I'll save that, and I'll run bundle install in our terminal, which I have opened up, and I'll wait for that to run. Okay, now we're good. So the next thing, we're going to do Rails G devise install, install to install Devise. And we will generate the Devise model with Rails G devise user being the name of our model. And we'll also do Rails G devise views to generate our views. Alright, so now that that's done, we're going to migrate the database with rake db migrate. And things are looking pretty good here, so I'm just going to go into assets, style sheets, and delete the scaffold.scss because we don't need it ever. Alright, great. So the next thing that I have to do is work with Git. So create your Git repository, and I will say git add dot, and then git commit -m for message, and we will say set up devise and scaffold. Okay, great. We are done with this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright guys, so in this video we're going to be doing a lot of things, mainly just with some validation, but let's just get right into it. So I'm going to go into models and article.rb, and I'll open that up, and I'll say that an article belongs _to a user. Save that, and then of course we have to have a user, and a user, if we go down to the bottom and create a new line, a user has _many articles. Okay, good. So now a user and an article, there's a link there. Next thing, we're going to go into controllers, articles controller.rb, and I'll set another before action. So the before action will be authenticate _user ! accept, and we'll open up a list for the index and the show page. So this way we keep our application safe from random people. So I'll open up the terminal and I'll say git add dot, then git commit -m for message, and I will say cleaned up validations. Okay, good. So I'll see you in the next video. Sweet. Okay, so this time around we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and that is we're going to be working with some of the styling before we finish all the coding. So once again, I am at bootswatch.com for some free Bootstrap themes, and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to use the readable theme because I feel like it's going to work best for our application. So I'll get the bootstrap.min.css and then select this all with Control A, then copy it. We'll open up our text editor, then go to Assets, Style Sheets, Application.css, and I'll just paste it in there like that. Save it, and good. So now we have Bootstrap imported. So I will open up our terminal, say git add dot, then git commit -m for message, and we'll call this commit imported Bootstrap. Sweet, so now we can get to styling, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, so let's get to styling early by styling the show page of our application. So I'll go to Views, Articles, and head over down to the show page. And the first thing I'm going to do is delete this whole title stuff, and I'm going to paste in a line, and what this line is going to do is just put the article.title in h1 tags. I'm going to do the same exact thing with the body, create a p tag like that, and then I have the article body inside of there. Sweet. Now I'm going to copy the article image URL and paste it into the article body p tag. Let me properly indent this. Alright, great. And I'll also delete this image URL stuff. And now, if we save it, I'm going to wrap the edit tag so that only a signed user can edit something. So if user _signed _in question mark, we close that off, and then end. So it will only show if the user is signed in, so that only a signed in user can edit, which is great. And then up at the top, I am going to do a style tag, and I'm going to make sure that the image that we put is not going to get too big, because that would be very, very bad. So I'll do img, and the img will have a max width of, let's say, 200 pixels, and it will also have a max height of 200 pixels, so that way it won't get too big. So I'll save that, And one last thing, I want the article body to come after the image. And we'll have the image URL be aligned to the right. And before we open up the terminal, we are going to add an image tag to the article image URL so that it will render as an image in Rails. Alright, great. So now it's time to get coding. So I will do git add dot and then git commit -m, and I'll say styled show page. Sweet. I'll see you in the next video. Alright guys, so we are up at localhost port 3000/articles, and this looks pretty bad. We're going to have to style the index page, but you see we can still create a new article, and it's asking me to log in, but I'm going to sign up and I'm going to put in a password, and then I'm going to confirm my password, and then I'm going to sign up. And you see now I can actually create an article. So let's just test this out. So I'll say test, and the body will be testing article. And the image URL, I'm going to open up a new tab and look up a picture of a cat. Wait for that to load. And now you see I'm just going to grab the image address for this image right here and then paste it in the image URL. And also I'm going to go to hipsum.co for some filler text for our application. And I will beer myself and just copy 2 of those paragraphs right there and paste it in there so we can see what it looks like. So now if I create the article, you see this is what a test article looks like, and it looks pretty good. But if we go back, it looks really bad. So in the next video, we will be working on the styling of the index page. Sweet. Alright guys, so just like I said in the last video, in this video we will be styling the index page of our app. So I'll go into app, views, and head over to articles, then index.html.erb. And what I'm actually going to do is delete this entire table, just all of it. And we're going to start basically from scratch. So just delete all of this right here. And then instead of listing articles in the h1 tag, I will say all articles instead, and you'll find out why later. And then right in here, I'm just going to loop through all of our articles by opening up a Rails tag and say add article dot each do, and inside the pipes, as I like to call them, we are going to put article just like that. And then inside of there, we'll do a link to article.title, and we'll link it to the article. Alright, close off of that, and now I have opened up a paragraph, and it'll truncate article.body to the length of 200 characters. So if you're not sure if you know what the article is about, there's just a little bit of a 200 character limit there. And I'll also put the link to article title in h2 tags. Alright, so now let's just end this loop statement right there with an end. Okay, let's indent everything. Good, so we are done. So I'll open up our terminal, do git add dot, and then git commit -m, and we will call this commit styled index page. Sweet. So I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, so just like what we did in the last section, we are going to now style our form partial. So we're going to go into views, articles, then form.html.erb, and open that up. And the first thing is we're going to get rid of all of these div class fields and replace them with div class form groups. So div class form group, go down, div class form group, then div class form group, And finally, instead of div class actions, we'll do div class form group. Great. Alright, so next up, we are going to delete the labels, and I'll tell you what we'll be using instead in just a second. So delete all of the labels. And I'm going to add a class to this text field in the first form group. And it'll be a class of form control with a placeholder that will say title of article. So instead of having a label, we'll just have a placeholder in the text. And I'll do the same thing for the body, except for instead of title of article, it will say article body. Great. And then we'll do it for the image URL. So image URL. And last but not least, we're going to make the submit button. We'll have submit being the title and a class of btn for button, btn default, btn-primary. Great. So I'll save that. Then we'll open up our terminal to start working with Git. Say git add dot, and then git commit -m for the message, and we'll say this message is that we styled the underscore form, or the form partial. Great, so I will see you in the next video. So before we continue, there are a few problems with our application, and one is in app, views, articles, and index.html.erb. And that is we have article instead of articles.each do. So we'll do that instead. And also we won't need the new article link because we'll put that in a navbar, which we will create in the next video. Next, our routes are all messed up. So I'm going to go into config routes.rb, and we're going to go down and uncomment the root line. And instead of welcome index, we will have articles index. And this way we will be able to route to the articles instead. So sweet, I'll see you in the next video. Okay guys, so now it's time for us to style our application. So I'll go into layouts application.html.erb, and today we will be working on creating the navbar of our site, which will make our application look a lot nicer, and we'll also work with some columns later. So here I have the default Bootstrap navbar, but I've added some things. So we have a link to new article and sign out if the user is signed in, and if he's not, then we'll have a link to sign up and sign in. So I'm just going to copy this entire nav statement, and you can find this on the Bootstrap webpage or on the GitHub. So I'll paste this into here, save it, and now it looks really nice. So we'll go down, and in this yield function, we are going to wrap it in a Bootstrap column. So in order to do that, I'm going to have a div class of container, and then a div class, and we'll say column large, and we'll do large 10 with an offset of 2. There we go. And then we'll just cut this yield and then put it inside the div. Okay, now let's get rid of that line there. Save it and open up our application. I'll say git add dot, spell that right, git add dot, and then git commit -m styled navbar and columns. Great, so I will see you in the next one. Alright guys, so I am up in our app and it looks pretty good with all the styling that we did. But one thing that you might notice is that there are no categories like there were in the demo video. So in order to fix that, I'm going to go into our text editor. So without further ado, let's create the migration so that our database will have categories. And in order to do that, I'm going to say Rails, G for generate, migration. And we'll call this migration create categories in camel case, with a name colon being a string. So I will submit that. Okay, good. So now that our migration is created, I'm going to go rakedb migrate to put that into the database. Great. Next up, I'm going to go into DB migrate, and you see in here we have the migrations. It's saying to create a table named categories with a string of name, which is exactly what we want. Alright, so next up, we are going to add a category to an article with Rails G migration. Add category to article. Articles with a category underscore ID being a integer. Okay, so let's do that again and migrate. And we put add category to article, and you see it has a column of articles to category ID, which is an integer. Great, so we'll rake DB migrate the database again. Okay, now that that's done, we'll do git add dot, git commit -m for message, and I'll name this commit created category migrations. Sweet, so as easy as that, we have created our migrations for our categories. So our database may have categories, but that doesn't mean that our models are rendering them. And I want to fix that in this video right now. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to app models, and we'll create a new file, and we'll call that category.rb for the category model. And then inside there, we're going to have a class category with an active record : base, and it has many articles. Okay, so a category has a lot of articles. And now if we open up article.rb, we'll say that an article belongs _to a : category. So just to recap, we have a category that has a lot of articles, and the article belongs to a category. Alright, great. So now we'll open up our terminal and say git add dot, then git commit -m, and I'll call this commit put categories in models. Sweet, so I will see you in the next one. So in order for us to create our categories, we're not going to have them generated by any random user. We're going to have them generated by us using the Rails console, which will allow us to connect to the database. So I'll type in Rails C in our terminal, and now in here we can do whatever we want in the database, which is really, really cool, and only we can do it. And that's how I want us to create our categories. So I'll say category.create, and then we'll make some params, and in here, the name that we defined will have a string, and the string will be called people. Okay, so we just created a people category. Now I'll click the up arrow, and instead of people, we will have animals. And then finally, instead of animals, we will have things. So you can replace this with whatever you want, it's fine, and I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, so in this video we will be implementing the articles controller with the categories. And in order to do that, first we're going to modify this def index right here. And we want to make sure that the user will only have all of the articles displayed, as it says in here, if they want to. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a new line and say if params category dot blank, then we will show all of the articles. But else, what we're going to do is first we're going to declare a variable called category_ID, which will say category.find by the name of the params category.id, and we'll also set articles equal to article.where that category makes sense. So category ID is category.id. And then we'll go down here and we'll end it. Next, we're going to scroll all the way down to the def article params in the private method, and we are going to add category ID to the list of params that are required. So we have title, body, image URL, and then category ID. And just like that, we've implemented this into our controller. Alright, so now let's set up our application so that a user can switch between categories if they wish. In order to do that, we're going to go into Views, then Layouts, and application.html.erb. And we're going to scroll down. And right here in this div class container, we're going to delete the offset 2, and you'll see why in a second. And then we're also going to add a div class of row and put in our column large 10 inside of there. Great. Now next, inside of our row, we'll add another div class, which will be column large 2, which got rid of the need of the offset of 2. And then inside of here, we're going to create an unordered list with a class of, let's say, nav pills, and nav stacked. Great. Now inside of here, we'll create a list item, an li, and that list item will be a Rails link to. So let me open up some Rails tags. Link to, and we'll link it to all categories. And that'll go to the root path. Okay, we'll close off of that. And we'll do a Rails loop now. So I'll say category dot all dot each do category inside the pipes. And inside of here, we'll just create another list item. And that list item will hold a link to. And the link to will give it a title of the category dot name. And it will go to the articles path for the category with a category dot name. Cool. So now I will close that off in some end tags. And it's looking pretty good so far. So I'll save that, and then we'll open up our terminal, and I'll say git add dot, and then git commit -m, and we'll call this commit added selection between categories, and we are done. So I will see you in the next video. Alright, so now that the categories are created and all that stuff, we want to make sure that the user can actually put in a category, so we'll put it in our form. So I'll go into article_form.html.erb, and I'll scroll down, and right before we have the submit button, I'll do a div class of c-select. Alright, that looks good. And then inside of here, we'll have an f.collection_select of category ID with category.all, the ID, name, and the prompt will be choose a category, and I'll have a class of form control. Great, so just like that, we've added that to our application. So I'll open up the terminal, say git add dot, and then git commit -m, and we'll name this commit added category to forms. Great, so I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, so now I have our server running, and you see that I have just created a couple filler articles for us. So if we go to people articles, we have all the people articles, all the animal articles, and all the things articles. Now one thing that you might notice is no matter what category we're at, it still says all articles. However, if we go up into the URL, you see it has a category equals and then what category you're actually on. So I want to put that in our application. So we will split that URL there. So it'll say all people articles, all animal articles, all things articles, etc. So I'm going to open up our editor, and we are going to go into views, articles, and then index.html.erb. So first we want to make sure that if all the articles are there, then we'll just say our articles. So if request.original_URL dot split and we'll split it at that equal sign. Dot last dot includes a slash. So if the URL includes a slash there, then it will show all the articles because we will be at the home page, just like that. However, if that's not the case, so we'll create an else statement. Then we will have a h1 tag, and I'll say all articles. However, in between the all and the articles, we'll open up some Rails tags. And inside of there, we'll say request dot original underscore URL dot split at the equal sign, and then dot last. Hold on, put that outside the parameters. So request dot original URL dot split at the equal sign dot last all articles. So we'll say all, the name of the article, articles. It looks like we forgot to do an end statement. So I will close that off with an end statement. And we'll reload the page, and you see if we go into people, it says all people articles, and it says category equals people. Same thing with the animals, same thing with the things. Okay, so we are done with our application, pretty much. So I'm going to open up our terminal, close out of the Rails server, and say git add dot, then git commit -m, and I will put the commit with the message showed categories on index. Sweet, so I will see you in the next section.